Is up, guys? You know who it is. It is your allies behind enemy lines coming at you. Ryan and Joey thoroughly behind enemy lines in Cowboys territory, holding it down, bringing you all the latest and greatest. And as of late, and as always, it's the not so greatest. It is Monday, November 16th. I'll tell you what, Joe. The air, not so crisp. That coffee a little bitter today, right? The sad trombone. The sad trombone is getting played today.
Yes.
Before we get into it, as always, make sure you hit that subscription button here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, so every Monday and Friday you are alerted as soon as we upload our newest video. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Facebook at AlliesBEL. That should be below us here on the screen. Apple iTunes. Make sure you like, rate, subscribe, and review there as well. Make sure you leave us those 5-star reviews and say something nice about us, even if you're lying. Just go ahead and say make us feel better. Make us feel better about this season that's going on for us. Joey, we'll get right into it now. As you were playing the sad trombone, things started off with even worse. It was not even a sad trombone. It was just a give me a gun and put me out of my misery type of game. We fall behind early, 17-3 at half, fall behind 24-3, and then little by little start inching back a comeback. But it was all for naught. Tell me some things you like, some things you disliked. I'm sure I probably know the things you dislike, but just kind of your overview of the game yesterday against Detroit.
Well, let me start it off with just saying one thing. Everyone underestimates Ron Rivera. I no longer underestimate Ron Rivera. He has, not only does he have us in position for the first round draft pick, he has us in position for the NFC East at the same time. I mean, I don't know if you could do a more bang up job if you are Ron Rivera and the sad state of our division, where both of those are still a possibility at this late in the year, which is crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was painful to watch. Alex Smith got out the gate, and that first drive, it looked like a different team. Second drive, it looked like a different team. But our defense, it's like our offense started off good, and then our defense could not stop the run again. It was like all over again against the Giants. And I don't know if that getting the defense on the field, getting the offense back on the field was just killing their vibe. But I'll tell you what I did see is, in the first half, they had a lot of the weird, motion gimmick style, diversionary, style offense that wasn't working. It didn't look right. It looked like the timing was off on it, on some of the motions, and Alex Smith didn't look comfortable. But the second half is like they took that out of there, and just Alex Smith just like they gave him the Dwayne Haskins version of the playbook and just said just throw the ball down the field, and he tore apart that defense. That was all Alex Smith making reads before he even got rid of the ball. That's all. To me, I put all that on Alex Smith and his ability. I really started questioning our play calling, first half of that game. And you started thinking, what? The play calling is not putting our offense in the right position. But I think Alex Smith showed in the second half that he still has it. As I always thought he probably did. He can still tear apart a defense given the right circumstances and the guys to catch the ball. Great things from Cam Sims and Scary Terry. Other than that fumble, obviously cost us early in the first half. Antonio Gibson, 2 touchdowns. A lot of great positives, to go here. The negative is our defense, which I never thought I'd find myself saying this far into the season. And I don't know if someone's going to say it's the line. A lot more is going to say it's the linebackers. But Kendall Fuller giving up 2 big touchdowns. It's that defense. Just I don't know what they did to prepare for this game, but it didn't look like much.
Yeah, you mentioned it there with Kendall Fuller getting burned. That's not something we're used to seeing, and that's something I think anybody should really get used to seeing. You can't really chalk it up to anything other than he just got beat. It was shades of the Josh Norman days back there with him just getting Marvin Jones running right by him and giving up the touchdown. So, that obviously wasn't great. Obviously, I mentioned last week about Alex Smith. Even though he was trying to bring us back last week and throwing the 3 interceptions, this week takes care of the ball. He throws the ball 55 times. He, completed 38 of them out of 55. So, great completion.
Career highs in yards and completions.
Yeah, throws for almost 400 yards, 390, which you don't expect that out of Alex Smith at all. I had said on Friday's show that I expected Antonio Gibson to get involved in the passing game quite a bit. It was actually J.D. McKissick, a team-high 15 targets, and he reels in 7 of them for 43 yards. So I knew that check down game was going to be there, obviously, with Alex Smith. You know, you were those short to intermediate routes with the running back coming out of the backfield. But I agree about the motion. It wasn't us. It looked like a wannabe San Francisco or like a wannabe Los Angeles Rams, where they always have one guy moving over here, so they think the defense is looking that way, and then they go this way. Just wasn't working. But once we settled into what I would think is more our offensive style, Alex Smith looked way more comfortable. He's a lot easier to make the reads. Like you said, before he was even getting rid of the ball, he knew where guys were going to be. He put it on them. And I actually was very, very impressed with what I saw out of Alex Smith. I was expecting a good game, but I think this was a great game from him. Like you said, the defense let us down. And one thing you didn't mention, we talked about it yesterday while we were texting. I don't know why Dustin Hopkins is still our kicker. I mean, he goes 2 for 3. Is that missed field goal, a huge turning point in the game? Probably not, but guess what? He missed a field goal. How many did we lose by? 3. It's just little things like that. I don't know how he's still our kicker. I don't know why he's still our kicker. I don't know who he has blackmail on in that Washington organization that he just is able to keep his job as a kicker when he's not very good. I mean, he is he's a below average kicker, I would say. Below average. There's so many kicks that he misses that you're just like, how the hell did you miss that? You're an NFL kicker and you just missed that. So that was one thing that I am sick and tired of watching, is him missing the uprights over and over and over again and not being able to make any field goals. But defense was very shaky. Obviously, it comes down to Chase Young with that roughing the passer penalty. He can't have that in that spot. I think it was a little ticky-tacky, but it was very obvious that he did hit Matt Stafford after he got rid of the ball. So
we got a ticky-tacky on the other side as well, on the drive before. So I say those cancel out. You just don't put yourself in that position. That's, it's why put yourself in that position. Ball was long gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to know how to pull up there. I'm trying to figure. How long was that field goal to win it? Do you remember?
59 yards.
59-yard field goal. So not only did we give up that 15-yard penalty, but then right after that, we give up a 9-yard pass to Marvin Jones to put them in field goal range. I mean, it's still a tough field goal to make. 59, 60 yards. That's no chip shot. I mean, that's still a tough field goal to make. But after that 15-yard penalty, you give up, a decent chunk of yardage to at least get them within shot to put it up. Because if you don't give that up, if you only give up a 5-yard little pass, they're trying for a 64-yard field goal, or they're trying for a Hail Mary there at the end. So that obviously puts us in a tough spot, and that was all she wrote. That was all they needed. One thing I will touch on too, we mentioned this on Friday's show. Antonio Gibson, a decent day running, 13 carries for 45 yards. You mentioned those 2 touchdowns. Adrian Peterson, 4 carries, 21 yards, 5.3 yards per rush. But hey, guess what? You weren't the guy. You weren't the guy for Detroit. You weren't the guy for us. So you can go ahead and pipe down there, AP. Love you. Loved what you did for our team. But I think we saw today, we made the right decision by letting you go and letting Antonio Gibson handle the rock.
I don't know.
I know they got the win, and that's probably more important. But for him saying, "I'm going to show them who they released," we knew exactly who it was. I'll give you the old Denny Green. He was who we thought he was, and that was it.
Well, that being said, though, I think that's a little slanted, because given what DeAndre Swift did to our run defense, if Adrian Peterson would have got about 10 more catches or touches, he probably would have done the same thing. We weren't stopping nobody yesterday.
And while you're 100% right, you're right. That there's a shoulda, woulda, coulda, but it's like, hey, guess what? You're not even the guy in Detroit. You're not the guy in Detroit. Who was? DeAndre Swift. So
that's
again, my point is kind of.
Your point is there. I think the ones that made the right decision, though, were the Detroit Lions in drafting DeAndre Swift, and then having a backup such as Adrian Peterson that can come and still peel off 7 yards apiece. When he's running against an already softened up defense. I mean, it was just pathetic to watch the way that. I mean, that we're not talking about an all-pro offensive line. We're talking about a rookie running back who's been struggling. He's had a couple good games, mostly out of the passing game, not out of the running game, and he just sliced and diced us. It was our defense was not prepared. I don't know what Jack Del Rio. I don't know who our defensive line coach is actually at the time that's preparing those guys, but they should not be giving up that type of running. And not to mention, I know you touched on the completion part, on that 10-yard completion, right, to give up the field goal. But we don't give up that penalty before. That defense changes. They still had one timeout, and 9 seconds left. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to play. You're trying to give up as least as possible. But you're going to give up something to Matthew Stafford. So in their opinion, the lesser of two evils is not give up over the top 25-yard completion over your back where they give him a chip shot, is to make him earn it. Matt Prater has struggled up until this game, but he nailed two 50-yarders in this game against us.
Yeah.
But it was just unfortunate that we were in that position. And again, I just as you brought it up too, one more point real quick. With Antonio Gibson, watching him run yesterday, I think he's got to stop cutting too much. I think he's got to make one cut go. One cut. It seems like he's doing a lot of dancing, and I know he does it right before he goes down, which I don't mind as much, but he's doing it right before he makes his initial plant foot to go. And I think he never it doesn't allow him ever to really get going. And he ends up just, gets contact when he finally makes that plant, and then he's just kind of trying to pull out of a tackle. So I think he needs to be a lot more.
It's almost like the Le'Veon Bell kind of stutter step when you get the ball. He kind of created that, made that real popular when he first came into Pittsburgh. But
Le'Veon Bell didn't go forward as he did it. He went side to side, then he picked his whole. Antonio Gibson's going forward as he's picking his way, and thus being grabbed by the defender. So I think he needs to be a little bit more decisive. I know he's not, again, as much as we say it's this far into the year, he's definitely still a rookie running back and doesn't have a lot of touches in his since college as well. So hopefully those are the kinds of things that he can work on to get better. I'm still impressed with his growth. 2 touchdowns is a great performance. McKissick out of the backfield did what he could. He had a couple high passes. Alex Smith missed them high on a one that should have been a touchdown, I think, there in the first half. So I think a lot of these pieces are starting to come together playing better, and I started to read today, can Alex Smith be our quarterback in 2021? And I'm not going to put, as far as what's going on out there right now, if he continues to play like this, we're just talking about 1 week as a starter. We're talking 1 week as a starter. And, mind you, when he played back with us 2 years ago, we did not have, it's funny to say, but we didn't have the weapons we have for him now. And I want to say weapons because Scary Terry is a weapon. Cam Sims is showing he's a weapon. Steven Sims is, he hasn't been a consistent weapon. We know he can be a weapon. And Antonio Gibson the same way. So you're talking about two guys that I think have proven their weapons, and 2 guys that are on the cusp of becoming a weapon. You can have any weapons in the hands of someone like Alex Smith, and he's going to make you pay for it. And he started to do that to Detroit's defense yesterday. So some may say Alex Smith is done, but he still got some stuff in the tank.
Look, I'll tell you what. What's the word? Recency bias. I think I would be in with Alex Smith being our quarterback next year, with the caveat that we take a Zach Wilson, we take somebody in the draft, and give him the Mahomes treatment. Not saying they're turning into Mahomes, but we've seen that Alex Smith is a very good leader. He's a good veteran guy to have, kind of lead the way. And I don't know how he would feel about it, because he saw what happened in Kansas City. He's been through it kind of a little bit in San Francisco too with the Kaepernick deal. He's been through it where it's like, yeah, you're good, but then hey, here's this young guy. Go ahead and get him ready so he can replace you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the first 2 times, maybe he's down for it. The third time, maybe not so much. And now I don't want to speak for Alex Smith. I don't want to put words in his mouth or anything like that. But I just don't know how he would feel about that. But if he's down to do it, if he's down to play for next year.
Do you remember not to cut you off, but do you remember my ideal scenario for this season as in our quarterback position? Let's think way back. Let's think of one of our first videos of this. What was my ideal scenario at the quarterback position? Do you remember what I said?
Alex Smith start and Dwayne learn behind him?
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't think it's too late for that. I still don't think it's too late for that. I still think that, if we can have Alex Smith continue and have Dwayne learn from him the rest of this season and maybe next season, to start it off again. And, and if Alex Smith starts to smutter or stutter next year, late in the season or early in the season, then maybe Dwayne Haskins has had a whole year under his belt to learn, a whole off season, a lot of learning, a lot of tough learning he's done, but he's doing it from one of the best people he can learn from. And I think that at that point, you're taking this first round draft pick and you're getting you another lineman, you're another weapon, and free agency. We still have a ton of money in cap space. You know what I mean? And rather than chasing after a quarterback, do we still have one in this building? That might be a possibility, but I think right now Alex Smith has definitely proven he is the guy we need right now. Now, Can he get Dwayne Haskins coached up for next year? That remains to be seen, but it's something that I think a possibility we have to keep open.
Yeah, the only drawback is with the Dwayne Haskins thing is, if he's not the guy, then that sets us back, who knows how long, another year or two. And then by that time, Alex Smith is gone. And then so we have to bring a rookie in and throw him to the Wolves maybe.
Why is it always got to be a rookie? Why is it always got to be a rookie? There's going to be free agent contracts coming up those years. There's going to be hot meat on the market. By that year, Sam Darnold will be out of his rookie contract as well as other, that draft class, Deshaun Watson as well. So you're talking about a lot of people that might be, there's not a lot telling you. You can't project that far ahead. There's too much that can happen between now and then.
So I'm looking on Spot Track right now for 2022 quarterbacks. Let's just get a little crazy here. Obviously, we do this every week. We talk about the game for a little bit, and then we start dealing in hypotheticals. Get used to it. We lost.
We lost. Exactly. When I started watching that game, all I could say was that's a better team. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
That was just a bet.
I don't know. I don't know that was a better team. Like I think they capitalized on a few chances. Obviously, we like I said, the blown coverages on the touchdown. Like I don't think the Lions are better than us. I really don't. They played better than us, absolutely. The defense, like you said, had no business being on the field the way they played. But I don't think that was a better team, and I still stand by it. I still I said on Friday that I thought we were going to win it. I thought it was a very winnable game. But I'm not going to say that was the better team. I don't think the better team won. Now, am I saying that we are 100% better than the Lions? No, I'm not saying that either. But I don't think definitively that Detroit was the better team.
Well, and the one thing I did say, if you remember at the very end of the Friday, or the Thursday, I should say, recorded, but Friday aired a podcast, was that do not leave Matthew Stafford anytime on that clock.
Yeah.
and people always talk about me about whenever I bring up Matthew. I'm like, no, I don't seen it. I've seen it too many times in my life to see that Matthew Stafford. I mean, they saw it with we just saw weeks ago with the Falcons. When that game was over, I was like, how can people forget what this guy does? And he's still one of the most underrated players. Guys, is the most underrated comeback guy. That's for sure. And but, Matthew Stafford, we've talked about him possibly coming over. So, there's a lot of things that can happen between now and then.
So some free agents that we're looking at for 2022. I won't run through all of them. There's Roethlisberger, Breeze, Brady, Taysom Hill, pass. Marcus Mariota, Baker, Nick Foles, Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. So everybody from that draft class. Lamar Jackson, which I doubt he's going to hit free agency.
Or
those
Josh
are the
Allen.
big ones. Yeah, or Josh Allen. Those are the big ones that are going to be coming free agents in 2022. So getting back to my original point, if you do try to take a chance on Dwayne Haskins for one more year and say, hey, can he learn behind Alex Smith, and it doesn't work out, then you're kind of setting yourself back another year or two on development for a young quarterback. I mean,
wait a second.
Alex Smith is 36. Like he's not. I mean,
he's not in a contract next year though, is he?
Alex Smith?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He is? I thought we only had 2 more years on him. The 2 years
next year.
I thought it was last year and this year.
Let me double check here. I'm looking right now. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought we had him this year and next year. Hold.
I'm pretty sure. I thought maybe it was just the injury. We were capped for 2 years. We were married to him for the injury for the 2 years. But I'm for sure the injury part was going to take over after this year. So I don't know if that was his whole contract or that was just like the injury clause that makes sure that a percentage of it still goes towards our salary cap.
Yeah, he's not showing up as a free agent for 2021. So I'm assuming, let me double check 2023. But yeah, I was pretty sure that we have him for this year and then we have him for next year for right around 21 million. And
as you check there, I know a lot of people, and probably you, a small part of you as well, is like, well, this guy's old as hell. This guy, we don't keep him on, but do you remember who he came out of the draft with?
Aaron Rodgers.
Is he old as hell? Are you thinking that about him? And this guy's had 2 less years of wear and tear because he was just rehabbing a leg for that time.
Because he almost lost his leg.
Exactly. But that you lose your leg, you're not losing your shoulders. You're not losing your arm. You know what I mean? Like NFL quarterbacks, we all know, are on a pitch count, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he lost 2 years off that pitch count.
Yeah, so yeah, Alex Smith is a free agent in 2023. So yeah, he has this year and next year. on his contract. So I'm fine with keeping him around for next year. Again, 21 million is the cap hit, or excuse me, 23.5 million is the cap hit for next year.
We won't get nothing better than that for that.
Exactly. So 24.4 million is what we're paying him next year. 26 million in 2022. Again, like you said, you're not going to get a whole lot better than that for that price. So it's not a bad idea to keep him around if he can keep playing at this level. I think if he can play at this level that we saw, the second half last week, and then I guess the second half this week, he, like you said, once he settled into his own offense, I don't think it's crazy or out of the realm of possibility to keep him around one more year. But I would like to bring a young guy in and maybe give him a year or two. Maybe give him 2 years. If Alex Smith can play 2023 and is playing at a high level, he'll be 39 at that point. Let's do it. I'm down as long as he's, not a hindrance to this offense.
Which he is not. He's an enhancer. I mean, we haven't seen that offense move like. Think about the last time you saw our offense move like that. We're talking Kirk Cousins. In garbage time of games. That's the way he moved that ball at will. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just like the Detroit's defense was. That's a Matt Patricia defense. That's an elite defense with people out there making plays, and it was just the timing of his routes, the choices he was making on his as he's going through his checks. And so, like I told you at the end of that text sequence yesterday, I think you can sum up the entire game, I think, just by my text sequence to you, just by the comments I made to you real fast here. It was, it started off with, that's how you lose games. That was the initial thing. And then went, that's 2 QBs we've decapitated this year. Fuller getting torched. We're going to have to put up some points. And man, Hopkins sucks. And then at the very end, Chase Young ruins the comeback. So that's pretty much the game in a nutshell right there.
It really was. 100. I think that perfectly encapsulates how we were feeling about that game. Because it's funny, whenever we start creeping back, that's kind of like when we go silent. You know what I mean? Like when we started a little comeback, like you and I, we stopped texting about
I fell asleep. I fell asleep during the first touchdown. I woke up when they ran it out. I was like, yeah. I was like, no, what is that little crap? And then the second one is like, huh? Yeah. And the third one is like, ah! So you don't let yourself get your hopes up. You know what I mean? But with this team,
well, we've been through it so many times,
and we still went through it again because we didn't get our hopes up. So yeah,
when they tied it, I was like, okay, cool. They tied it. Let's go into overtime and see what happens. We didn't make it that far, but like you said, you never get your hopes up. You never. I mean, if you're a seasoned Washington fan, you never get your hopes up because as soon as you
see the stat? We are 6-26 in the last 32 games.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah,
it does not feel that terrible until you hear it like that, but it is that terrible.
Yeah, it is. It 100% is. I mean, last year, what were we? 4-12. So I mean, I believe it. I believe it 100%. It's tough times around these parts.
Yeah. Oh man, we got to do something. We got to do something. Let's get this week pass. And jump into the fire, I guess.
So yeah, I mean, and we got Cincinnati coming up. We'll do our pre-game show on Friday. Obviously, our lead-in. But anybody that thinks we're gonna come in and be able to beat the Bengals, no problem. You got another thing coming because the Bengals are scrappy. The Bengals are big.
Not to mention we're terrible. That's not to mention we're terrible. There's no. I mean, it was funny. I saw somebody put on Twitter. It was funny. There's another Washington guy I follow. I forget the guy's name, but he put. I wonder if other teams, when they look at their schedule and see Washington, they automatically think, "Oh, that's an easy game." And yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So if anyone's thinking about that about your team, you should not plan on winning any games. Like every win would be a surprise. No win's gonna be. We should not plan on winning any more games, and every win is gonna be a surprise.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. I mean. The Cowboys, I don't think will be surprised if we win that. And outside of that, maybe the Eagles of our remaining schedule. But Bengals, Steelers, 49ers, Seahawks, Panthers, I fully expect to lose those games. So.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends. Like I said, I hate to be so optimistic because I always have. It's the only way you survive as a Washington football team fan anymore is to be extremely optimistic. is again, we know what that defense can do. It's not like we were waiting for them to, hopefully they'll get it together. We know what that defense can do. They've shown it against, good teams. They really showed it against that Cowboy game. Mind you, that was a beat up quarterback, but they can do it. And now we're seeing what our offense can do. And if our offense can do that and our defense can show the freak back up, there's no telling what can happen. We could beat any team on the field.
Yeah, no, I mean but I think that's the frustrating part is because we do know that, and when we don't do it, it's frustrating because like you're better than that, that you can perform at a higher level, and when you don't get it done, especially like if you do it against a good team and you still lose, like hey, we put up our best fight, that's fine. But when you do it against a bad team, against like we did against the Lions, and then we lose because we didn't show up or because we didn't play our best
and the
game,
Giants
and the Giants both times. It's like that's when it's like the most frustrating because it's like you just one or two things here or there that you change and that ball game is completely different. So I think that's the most frustrating part. I mean, the good thing is that we're finally starting to score some points. We scored 25, 20, and 27 the last 3 weeks. Before that, times were tough when it came to getting the ball in the end zone. I mean, we kicked field goals. We didn't score a whole lot of touchdowns. So that's I guess a positive to look forward to, and obviously things will get better with Alex Smith, getting a little bit more comfortable and finding his rhythm at the quarterback position. But we haven't.
When did you ever thought you'd be saying those words?
Yeah, never again. Honestly, never again. And I'll be the first one to tell you. I'll be the first one to admit it. 100%. I never thought I'd say that again. But I think other than the Cowboys game, again, a beaten and battered team, I think that's the only game where we've seen all parts firing. You know what I mean? The defense is working well. The offense looks good. The running game looks good. The passing game's good. We're not turning the ball over. That's the only game that I can really think of where we're firing on all cylinders. And we saw what happened again against a beaten and battered team. But those are the games that you got to win, that you got to take advantage of, and we did that. It's just, and before then and since then, we have not been firing on all cylinders. It's either one thing or the other. If it's not the offense turning the ball over, it's like we saw yesterday, the defense just giving up big play after big play.
Yeah, big play after big play. And it goes back to that casserole thing. We get parts of the casserole at good different times. We want the whole complete casserole. Now, a team like the Bengals, as you said, not to get into the preview, but and a team like the Cowboys coming up, they sound like good games. Being on Thanksgiving at all, is our casserole finally going to be done on Thanksgiving? Can we have our casserole? I hope so as well. And I think if we can get that casserole done by Thanksgiving, we could easily win this NFC East. I think yesterday's show between the Eagles and the Giants, still nobody wants this. Still nobody really wants this division, And it again also showed our what we talked about, that the Giants probably still is the team to beat in the division, So it's still going to be up in the air, but again, still being optimistic. Our offense showed things they haven't shown before. Cam Sims and Scary Terry. I think we have a bona fide number 1 and 2 on our team right now, which is huge, especially the size and athleticism with Cam Sims. And I don't know if you heard him talking about it, in the commentary yesterday, but everyone's rooting for Cam Sims in that team. He's one of those guys that's a locker room, a training camp phenom. They said he finally transfers to the field. And Alex Smith has got the way that he works. He could have been talking about Scary Terry there the same way. But we got two guys like that at wide receiver. We get us a tight end in there. We already got good running backs. McKissick showing that he ain't no punk back there either. He's going to get that ball in his hand. He's going to do some things. And I'm really happy with the way our offensive line, even going with the injury going down with Lucas yesterday, they had to shift Moses over to the left side, and I forgot who they brought on the right side, Ryder maybe, I don't know, remember his name, but didn't skip a beat. I didn't see Alex Smith running for his life, so it's a lot of good things to look forward to, and we have a lot of great players on defense. We just got to get them to play like they can, so
exactly.
Reason for optimism. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I think I've punted on the idea of trying to win the division. I think as long as we play well, don't get embarrassed too much, but still can find ourselves in the top 5, I think that'll be a success for me. So that's where I'm staying optimistic about. Is don't get embarrassed, play well. Like I said, we have a tough schedule ahead of us. As do the Eagles. I was looking at their schedule right now because of we were talking about whose division it might be. They play the Browns, Seahawks, Packers, Saints, Cardinals, and then finish up with the Cowboys and us. So their next 5 games are going to be tough for them to scrape by, especially the way they've been playing. But I mean, I told you I know I go back and forth every week of what I want this team to do, but I think I've fully punted on wanting to win the division, and because I mean we go to the playoffs week 1, what are we gonna do?
We're gonna play a team like Seattle that you never know what's gonna happen, or you know what I mean, or you're gonna play a team like the Rams so we can get some revenge on. I mean, you got to look at this team, this offense as a whole. What team is still gonna be standing at that point?
Yeah.
Drew Brees going down with a punctured lung and broken ribs and all kinds of stuff right now. What's the Saints gonna be? We already seen that the Seahawks 2 weeks in a row are beatable. And there's not elite teams in the NFC. Tampa Bay, we saw what happened to them against the Orleans. They can shoot a wad just like anybody else. So
absolutely. I mean, I'm glad you bring up Tampa Bay because if we won the division, that looks like who we'd be playing right now is Tampa Bay week 1. I mean, are we beating Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Cameron Brate, Ronald Jones looks like he's falling back into form.
I don't know, man. I don't think so, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but I think I'd rather lock up one of those top 5 spots instead and give us a
But again, if you're not in this draft, if you're not getting Trevor Lawrence, you're losing, in my opinion, because everything else is just guessing.
Yeah, no, I mean you're not wrong there either, but I got to find something to plant my flag in, and that's what it's gonna be.
Yes, it
My
is.
flag in Zach Wilson. I don't know how BYU would feel about that, but that's what I'm doing.
Don't be planting your flag in people, Brian.
I'm soaking Zach Wilson here. But anyway, we got anything else before we wrap up?
That's all I got, man. We spewed it all.
We did. I think we covered just about everything, past, present, and future, for this Washington football team. Well, as we finish up here, as always, like, rate, review, subscribe on Apple iTunes. Hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. Ring that notification bell. So as soon as this video is uploaded, you get the notification, and you come watch it immediately. Laugh, have a great time, cry with us. Tell your friends about it, and then they can laugh and cry at the same time too. And then you guys can laugh and cry together about how funny and sad. How funny we are and how sad this team is. So you can go full circle. Just trying to bring everybody together in these tough times. But again, follow us on Twitter and Facebook at AlliesBEL. Joey, if you don't have anything else, you can play the sad trombone one more time on our way out. That might get old for y'all, but we were saying off show yesterday that does not get old for us at all. So we think it's funny every single time. So you can expect it every single week, whether it's the victory trombone or the sad trombone. Something's getting played. There's a bone getting played at the end of this show.
A bone getting played around here. Yep.
All right. Well, until Friday when we come live at you with the preview show for Cincinnati Bengals. Again, that's Joey. I'm Ryan. We are your allies behind enemy lines. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for listening.